You hear the blow before you see it. Bronze meets iron with a crack that carries across the stone walls of the amphitheatre. Dust rises beneath heavy sandals. Sand shifts under hundreds of pounding feet as thousands of Romans surge forward, desperate not to miss the next exchange. Heat pours from stone seats, baked under hours of Mediterranean sun. The air carries ash from burned incense, sweat from packed bodies, fresh blood soaking into the arena floor, and the sharp metallic scent that follows exposed steel. Two armoured figures circle each other across the sand. Their names are Amazon and Achillea. Two women, two trained gladiators, two lives balanced on the edge of every blow. Neither hesitates, neither lowers a shield. Shields crash together hard enough to send a shudder through both bodies. Iron scrapes against a greave. The crowd gasps. Blows land and are answered. Every strike is intended to connect. Every mistake carries a price measured in blood. Arms strain. Legs fight for balance against loose sand. For a heartbeat, the arena falls quiet, as though thousands of people have forgotten to breathe at the same moment. Then the fighters separate. Neither has fallen. Neither retreats. They begin circling again. The crowd finds its voice. The names spread from one section of the amphitheatre to the next until they become part of the noise itself. Children repeat them. Merchants shout them. Gamblers clutch small wagers while trying to predict which woman will leave the arena standing. Their equipment leaves no doubt about what you are witnessing. Greaves guard their legs. Heavy rectangular shields cover most of their bodies. Arm guards wrap around their sword arms. Belts hold everything in place as they move. Nothing about them resembles dancers or ceremonial performers. Everything about them resembles trained provocatores. Each exchange grows faster than the one before it. The crowd has stopped noticing that two women are fighting. Now they are judging skill. That difference matters. No surviving witness recorded the exact sequence of blows. No account tells us how long the contest lasted. Yet one detail survived because someone believed it deserved to outlive everyone who filled the arena that day. Neither woman broke, neither collapsed, neither begged. The signal came. The combat stopped. Both fighters received missio, honorable release. The crowd answered with approval. Missio was not handed out because an audience felt pity. It recognized courage, endurance, and skill shown inside the arena. Whatever happened between Amazon and Achillea convinced the official overseeing the match that both had earned the right to leave alive. Then someone commissioned a monument. Stonecutters selected a slab of marble. Chisels struck its surface thousands of times. Every careful cut transformed a fleeting afternoon into something far more dangerous. Evidence. The relief they produced did not celebrate an emperor. It did not praise a military victory. Instead, it immortalized two gladiators, Amazon, Achillea. Their names remain legible nearly 2,000 years later. Their armor remains unmistakable. At their feet lie two discarded helmets, exactly where the sculptor chose to leave them. What you are about to see rests on that single piece of carved marble and a handful of surviving Roman accounts. This channel builds every documentary from primary sources, not legend. If that approach matters to you, subscribe before this story goes deeper. Why preserve this fight? Public monuments were expensive. Marble demanded money, labor, and purpose. Someone believed this contest deserved to survive beyond the generation that watched it. That belief clashes with almost everything later Rome chose to remember. Victorious emperors covered cities with monuments. Military triumphs filled official records. Political speeches survived in libraries. Yet the lives of Amazon and Achillea dissolve almost immediately after this relief. The stone remembers, the empire does not, because Amazon and Achillea were never presented as mythical Amazons, brought to life for entertainment. Their names borrowed from heroic tradition, but the relief shows something ordinary and therefore far more unsettling. Professional equipment, recognizable combat styles, official recognition. This was not fantasy. The marble says so. To understand why someone risked carving Amazon and Achillea into stone, you have to know what happened in Rome a generation earlier. The year is AD 64. Inside Rome, Emperor Nero has promised games worthy of the capital. People expect wild animals, executions, veteran gladiators, displays of imperial wealth. Instead, another boundary moves. Among the spectacles, women enter the arena, not servants, not attendants, participants. They carry weapons. They enter through the same gates, they occupy the same sand. The rules have changed without anyone announcing them. Some spectators laugh because they think they are watching a novelty. Others lean forward, uncertain whether they should applaud. Still others glance toward neighboring seats, searching for someone else, to decide how this moment should be received. Confusion arrives before outrage. That sequence matters. The surviving record, written years later, remembers the outrage. It says less about the hesitation that must have come first. One Roman writer preserved the reaction. Tacitus recorded that distinguished women appeared in the arena during Nero's reign. His words carry open disapproval. To him, the spectacle represented a world where established boundaries no longer held. His outrage reveals something unexpected. He did not describe an impossible event. He described one he wished had never happened. That difference would shape everything that followed. Because once women had entered the arena, Rome faced a question it never seemed comfortable answering. The amphitheater was unlike any other place in the empire. A slave could earn applause from senators. A condemned criminal could become the center of every eye in the city. Victory temporarily erased birth, wealth, and family. Inside the arena, survival created its own form of status. That idea became even more unsettling when women entered the same space. Outside those walls, Roman society depended on rigid expectations. Fathers governed households, magistrates governed cities, senators governed the state. Inside the arena, those expectations weakened. The crowd did not applaud noble birth. It applauded courage. It rewarded endurance. It celebrated whoever proved stronger when the fighting stopped. The empire would spend generations struggling to answer that question. It never produced a single answer. Instead, every decade made the contradiction larger. The first legal response arrived in AD 11. Senators gathered to debate matters they believed worthy of governing an empire. The decree that emerged did not abolish gladiatorial combat. It targeted something specific. Freeborn women under 20 were forbidden from appearing in the arena. The wording deserves attention. Governments rarely legislate against fantasies. The law addressed a practice real enough to demand intervention. 8 years later, in AD 19, another decree expanded the restriction. Women from senatorial and equestrian families were explicitly prohibited from entering the arena. Somewhere in Rome that same year, a woman tightened the straps of a greave around her shin. The wax tablet recording the new decree had not yet reached her city. By the time it did, she had already stepped through the arena gate. The law was 8 days old. She was one of many. Laws are revised when earlier laws fail. Someone continued crossing the boundary. Someone continued stepping through the arena gate, despite knowing exactly how Rome's governing class viewed the spectacle. Every unknown woman who entered the arena after AD 19 did so beneath a law that declared she should not be there. Yet the crowds kept gathering. The magistrates kept organizing games. The emperors kept rewarding spectacle. Rome condemned with one hand and applauded with the other. The year is AD 81. Domitian has become emperor. Unlike Nero, Domitian sought astonishment. He understood something every successful ruler eventually learned. The crowd always demanded something it had never seen before. Night. Darkness settled over the amphitheater. Servants climbed ladders carrying flaming torches, fixing them into iron brackets around the arena. Orange light rolled across polished armor. Smoke drifted into the evening sky. Shadows stretched across the sand until every movement became uncertain. Suetonius records what happened next. Women entered the arena to fight beneath torchlight. You can almost hear the sound changing. During the day, sunlight exposed every movement. At night, steel disappeared into shadow. A shield caught the firelight for an instant before vanishing again. Every clash echoed longer because the eyes struggled to keep pace with the ear. Then another report surfaced. Cassius Dio recorded that Domitian arranged contests between women and dwarves. The detail sounds absurd, almost theatrical. Yet it reveals something important. The emperor was no longer presenting every female combatant as an accomplished fighter. Some appearances had become carefully designed curiosities. The line separating athlete from attraction began to blur. The poet Martial offered a different reaction. Unlike writers who filled their pages with outrage, Martial praised what astonished him. He described women handling weapons before enormous crowds without elaborate moral judgment. His praise confirms the audience recognized what they were seeing. By then, Enough Romans had witnessed female fighters that the image no longer needed explanation. Something once shocking had become familiar. That change should have secured their place in history. Instead, it achieved the opposite. Once female combat became an expected possibility, Rome had to decide whether it belonged inside respectable society or outside it. In the port city of Ostia, announcements advertised games that included women among the attractions. Advertising follows demand. No organizer spends money announcing an event nobody intends to watch. Somewhere in Ostia, crowds gathered because women were expected to fight, not once, often enough to justify public advertisement. The year is AD 200. Septimius Severus has returned from campaign. He is a soldier before he is a politician. He understands discipline. He understands hierarchy. He understands that public order survives only while people believe every person knows their place. The arena has begun to challenge that belief. Cassius Dio records what happened next. Women of distinguished families participated in exhibitions so openly that the crowds answered with laughter. The mockery spread beyond the amphitheater walls. Roman crowds laughed at many things. Foreigners, defeated enemies, unfortunate performers, but when they laughed at members of the elite, the target was no longer an individual. It was the social order itself. You can almost see the moment the news reached the imperial palace. A messenger reporting that the games had produced ridicule rather than awe. An emperor calculating what laughter meant when it was directed at the families that governed Rome. The decision came quickly. The edict was drafted. The decree was issued. Women were forbidden from entering the arena. Not freeborn women under a certain age. Not women of certain families. All women, regardless of class, regardless of circumstance. The line that had remained blurred for nearly 2 centuries was finally drawn in stone. From that moment forward, the state no longer attempted to regulate female participation. It prohibited it completely. The order appears decisive. History rarely is. An emperor can command behavior. He cannot erase memory overnight. Some local spectacles may have continued beyond the decree. Others almost certainly disappeared immediately. Across an empire stretching thousands of miles, enforcement depended upon governors, magistrates, and local ambition. The surviving records grow noticeably quieter, but silence is not the same as certainty. If Severus succeeded completely, why does the marble relief of Amazon and Aquileia still exist? Why was it never destroyed? Why did no official carve away their names? The answer lies in how Rome handled its past. Rome did not erase uncomfortable moments by hunting every surviving object. It buried them beneath more acceptable stories. Each generation copied the works it admired. Each generation neglected the works it did not. Libraries burned, archives disappeared, private collections scattered. Names faded not because someone struck them from every page, but because fewer people chose to preserve them. That slow forgetting is harder to recognize than deliberate destruction. It leaves behind fragments instead of empty spaces. One inscription here, a passing remark there, a relief discovered centuries later beneath the soil of Halicarnassus. Each fragment survives almost by accident. Together, they reveal a world that official memory gradually pushed to the margins. Rome remembered them, then it chose other stories. The marble emerged from the ancient city of Halicarnassus, modern Bodrum in Turkey, weathered by centuries beneath the earth. Dirt filled its carved lines. Time had softened its edges, yet the essential details remained clear. 2 women, 2 shields, 2 daggers, 2 helmets resting on the ground. And beneath them, names: Amazon, Aquileia. Then another word, Missio. One inscription overturned generations of assumption. Not because it proved women fought. Ancient writers had already said that. It proved something harder to dismiss. Someone had considered this contest worthy of permanent remembrance. That changes the scale of the evidence entirely. A poet can exaggerate. A rumor can spread. A moralist can invent an outrage to strengthen his argument. Stone has no such motive. Someone paid for it. Someone carved it. Someone displayed it. And someone expected future generations to understand exactly what they were looking at. Across the former empire, archaeologists began uncovering gladiator cemeteries, training schools, abandoned amphitheaters, and thousands of forgotten objects. Every excavation promised another piece of the puzzle. At Ephesus, Excavators uncovered one of the largest known gladiator cemeteries ever found. Skeleton after skeleton emerged from the earth. Broken ribs, healed sword wounds, fractured skulls bearing unmistakable marks of combat. Medical examinations revealed years of repetitive injuries, followed by careful treatment, proof that successful gladiators represented investments worth protecting. Their diets, their injuries, their methods of treatment, their violent deaths, all confirmed every skeleton belonged to a man. The absence was impossible to ignore. The same pattern appeared elsewhere: another gladiator cemetery, another collection of weapons, another series of inscriptions. Again, the evidence pointed overwhelmingly toward men. It would have been easy to conclude that Amazon and Achillea had been extraordinary exceptions. The surviving records refused to make the story that simple. Then another discovery complicated everything. In London, along Great Dover Street, archaeologists uncovered a Roman burial, unlike those surrounding it. Among the cremated remains lay expensive lamps decorated with gladiatorial imagery. Burned pine cones, fragments of luxury goods, and objects associated with public spectacle rested beside the ashes. The burial belonged to a woman. Almost immediately, newspapers declared the mystery solved. A female gladiator had finally been found. The story spread around the world. It seemed to answer every lingering question. The excitement did not last. As more specialists examined the evidence, certainty began to unravel. The grave contained no weapons, no armor, no inscription naming its occupant. Nothing explicitly connected the woman herself to gladiatorial combat. The decorated lamps might have reflected admiration for the games. They might have belonged to a wealthy family. They might have held religious meaning now lost to time. The burial remained remarkable. Its interpretation became far less certain. That reversal teaches something important. The strongest evidence rarely arrives wrapped in certainty. Sometimes the most honest answer is also the most frustrating. We do not know. The marble of Amazon and Achillea speaks clearly because it leaves almost nothing open to interpretation. The Great Dover Street burial whispers. That contrast reveals how fragile this entire history has become. One surviving monument tells us exactly what happened. Hundreds of other discoveries leave us guessing. That imbalance explains why the women themselves seem to vanish each time you reach for them. Not because they never existed, because almost everything capable of introducing them disappeared first. Fire consumed archives. Stone buildings collapsed. Private collections scattered. Cities were abandoned. Centuries passed. The empire that once filled amphitheaters with roaring crowds slowly became ruins visited by strangers who no longer understood the language carved into its monuments. When evidence is scarce, myth rushes in to occupy the empty spaces. Stories become larger, facts become fewer. Modern films imagine female gladiators dressed for spectacle rather than protection. Internet myths claim they fought topless or existed only as fantasies created by decadent emperors. The relief rejects every one of those inventions. Armor covers their bodies. Their stance reflects disciplined training. The inscription records survival rather than death. These women do not need embellishment. The evidence already places them among the rarest figures in Roman history. Not because they were the only women to fight, because they are among the very few whose names escape the silence. The greatest mystery was never whether female gladiators existed. The marble settled that question long ago. The greater mystery is how many stood in the sand, whose names were never carved at all. Every anonymous fighter increases the weight carried by Amazon and Achillea. Not as symbols, as survivors, not only of the arena, but of history itself. The surviving relief does not show curiosity dressed as combat. It shows familiarity. Their posture is balanced. Their shields are correctly positioned. Their equipment is worn exactly where experienced fighters expected it to be worn. Nothing suggests amateurs. Everything suggests training. Nobody acquires movements like those displayed by Amazon and Achillea in a single afternoon. Someone taught them. Someone corrected every mistake. Someone watched them improve until they were ready to stand before thousands. That teacher disappeared from history as completely as many of the women themselves. Only the results survived. Missio itself quietly overturns one of the most persistent myths surrounding gladiators. Popular imagination often assumes every contest ended in death. Experienced gladiators represented years of training, enormous expense, and proven entertainment value. Organizers did not casually discard valuable fighters after every performance. A skilled combatant who survived could return again and again, drawing larger crowds with every appearance. Amazon and Achilea earned something more valuable than victory. They earned another day. What became of that day is one of the greatest unanswered questions in Roman history. In Roman gladiatorial combat, removing a helmet exposed the face to the crowd. It transformed an anonymous combatant into a recognizable individual. The relief preserves that moment forever. Amazon and Achilea no longer stand as hidden figures beneath iron. They stand as people whose skill earned the right to be remembered by name. Today, visitors continue passing through the British Museum. Many stop before the relief for less than a minute. Some read the inscription. Some notice the helmets. Some move on without realizing they have stood in front of one of the rarest surviving witnesses to an almost forgotten chapter of Roman history. The marble does not ask them to believe, it offers evidence. 2 women, 2 shields, 2 discarded helmets, 1 word, missio, honorable release. The crowd that watched their contest vanished nearly 2,000 years ago. The arena itself fell silent. The empire that governed their world no longer exists. But the chisel marks remain, the names remain, and at the feet of Amazon and Achilea, the helmets still rest exactly where they were left, as though the fight has only just ended.